Hey there all you cool cats and lazy dogs. Today we are going to take a look at the last Canon flagship DSLR, the Canon 1DX Mark III. Keep it locked. In 2020, I replaced my reliable Canon 1DX Mark II with the 1DX Mark III. It was a rather seamless transition with not much to report. The vast majority of my thoughts from the Mark II carried over to the Mark III, making a review of the camera seem rather redundant. This year, I purchased my first mirrorless pro body camera, which means that I get to look back at the camera that I've used for the past 4 years, and in a way, look back at the end of an era. Rather than recap the points in my video review of the Mark II, I'll touch on the differences of the Mark III that stand out to me the most. Photo-wise, the Mark III is every bit as capable as the Mark II, and even more so. Faster autofocus, more accurate autofocus, and a 16 frames per second shutter means getting the shot more often. And when paired with an LCD viewfinder, like this Canon 1DX model, the camera becomes an exceptional fast mirrorless camera, albeit with an awkward ergonomics due to not using the viewfinder. One thing that I have noticed about the photos from the Mark III is that the skin tones seem to have a greenish hue, which I think may be due to a less accurate auto-white balance. It's not a big deal, but does require some extra color correction in post compared to the Mark II. The Smart Controller is my favorite addition to the camera, and I wish Canon would incorporate it into all of their cameras, including the Cinema line. The Smart Controller is easy to use, fast, and makes controlling the autofocus points a breeze. My only gripe is that it needs to be pressed to use, causing autofocus engagement before potentially ready. Thankfully, this has been fixed on the R3. The Smart Controller is especially helpful in the video mode as it permits changing the autofocus points without causing micro jitters in the image. Video-wise, the Mark III sports Canon RAW, which I don't think I've ever used apart from initial testing. More importantly, the camera supports C-Log 3, which is a game changer for video capture on a DSLR, perfecting the idea of the older 1DC. My comments on the video image of the Mark II were rather mixed, but the Mark III has exceptional video quality with great dynamic range, making it, in my mind, the first truly usable Canon DSLR for video work that I've owned. I also prefer the two CF Express cards on the Mark III compared to the Compact Flash and CF Express combo of the Mark II. Apart from those changes, everything else seems really similar to the Mark II. The battery, weight, size, ergonomics, fixed screen, etc. In recent months, the used price of the Mark III has plummeted, making it a steal for any student or hobbyist photographer, giving access to exceptionally capable equipment at a fraction of the original cost. And as I change to the mirrorless Canon R3 and sell my 1DX Mark III, I can't help but to think of the differences in the technology. In a way, the 1DX Mark III feels like the end of another era. The change of the optical viewfinder to the electronic viewfinder on the R3 feels like the shift away from that final connection to that analog era, and a complete embrace of the digital world. So with that, I bid adieu to the last of the DSLRs, and move on to the next era of photo technology. Until next time, this is Alexander Calder Spinelli of Longbow Media, signing off. Catch you later, cool cats.